Surah 68, Al-Qalam, by the one who is denoted by the name Allah, who created my being with his names in accord with the meaning of the letter B, the Rahman, the Rahim. You can't tell in English, but the M and N sound, meme and noon, are both mathematically and sound-wise peculiar in this chapter. By noon, the knowledge of uluhiyah, and the pen, qalam, the disclosure of the knowledge, and everything it inscribes, the creator of the detailed manifestation of the knowledge as the Sunnatullah, way of God. Let us remember that the 30 verses that start 29 chapters and their separated letters are particularly a mystery, so we shouldn't treat the separated letters as if the random bits of Arab poetic use are certainly what would have been the case. And this is the 10th verse that has more than the abbreviated letters, or maybe not abbreviated, but separated at the very least. You are not, by the favor of your Rabb, possessed by invisible beings, the jinn. Indeed, there is an uninterrupted reward for you, and indeed you are of a great morality. Soon you will see, and they will see, who the possessed ones are. Indeed, your Rabb knows well from their being who has gone astray from his way, and he knows well who has attained the reality as he is present within their being. So do not follow the deniers. They wished that you would soften in your approach, compromise, so they can show tolerance to you. Do not conform to every base and imprudent habitual swearer, as they are cocooned from Allah and the Sunnatullah, who mocks, reproaches, and gossips, who prevents the experience of the reality and is guilty of transgression, stingy, ignorant, and moreover branded with disbelief. Will you obey him just because he has wealth and children? When he was informed of our verses, he said, Legends of the former people, soon we shall brand him by his nose. He will not be able to overlook the truth. Indeed, we afflicted them as we afflicted the people of the garden, when they vowed the harvest in the morning, without saying, if Allah wills. So a calamity befell the garden as they slept, and it, the garden, dried and blackened. When they awoke in the morning, they called out to one another, Go early to the crops if you are going to cut and pick. So they set out, whispering among themselves, There shall not enter the garden today any poor person. They set out assuming they had the power to prevent the poor. But when they saw the garden destroyed, they said, We must have come to the wrong place. No, this is the right place, but we have incurred loss. The most reasonable one among them said, Did I not tell you to exalt, tasbih, fulfill your servitude to your Rabb? And they said, Our Rabb is Subhan, beyond. Indeed, we have fallen short of giving your due. And they turned to each other and began to blame each other. And they said, Woe to us! Indeed, we have been insolent. Perhaps our Rabb will give in its stead one that is better. Indeed, we are now of those who turn to the Rabb. Such is the suffering, and the suffering of the eternal life to come is even greater if only they knew. Indeed, for those who protect themselves are the paradises of bliss with the Rabb. Will we treat those who have submitted, the Muslimin, like those guilty of denial? What is wrong with you? How do you judge? Or do you have a book from which you learn, by which you are given the commands that you like and assume are not in compliance with the Sunnatullah? tradition sanctioned by God. R. Have you received a word from us, valid until the doomsday, that you are free to do what you like? Ask them which of them takes responsibility for this claim. R. Do they have partners that they associate with us? Let them bring their partners if they are truthful. The time when the reality becomes manifest and they are invited to prostrate, confess the non-existence of their assumed separate existence, they will be unable to do so, their eyes humbled with terror, humiliated, whereas they used to be invited to prostrate while they were sound and in the world. My Rasul, leave me to deal alone with those who deny. We shall gradually take them to ruin from where they know not, and I give them time. But indeed my trap is firm. R. Do you ask from them a return by which they feel indebted and burdened? R. Do they have knowledge of the unknown, the unperceivable, which they write? Be patient for the judgment of your Rabb, and do not be like the companion of the fish. Jonah, the Nabi, exemplar prophet, and how he turned in distress. If the favor of your Rabb had not reached him, he would have been thrown onto the naked shore debased. But his Rabb chose him and made him of the righteous, the experiencers of the reality. Now, some people say these last two verses in reference to the evil eye are issues with experience of vision or something. Indeed, those who deny the knowledge of the reality were about to knock you down with their looks when they heard the reminder of the reality, Dhikr, saying, indeed he is possessed under the influence of a jinn, or having a quality like a jinn, whereas it is only a reminder to the people of their essential reality.